And boom. Hey, we are live like Channel 5, checking back in for the Alpha Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Vlog Show, all mixed up, wrapped in one. Man, I got a real special friend of mine jumping in. I had to track him down, make a special appointment. You know what I'm saying? The latest and the greatest, my man, Jordan. Is it Jacques?
Hey, it is Jacques, man. You got that one right.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure I get it right.
You in a small few, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time, man, and for having me on.
Yeah, sure, no problem, man. I mean, ever since I met you at that one meetup event, man, I just been bumping into you, and so at the right places. So that let me know I'm talking to the right person. If you both meet up the same, every time I see you, I know I'm at a good spot. Like, oh, it's cool, it's legit. It's Jordan's here. You know what I'm saying? It means
that's
something
what I
to
thought
Jordan's
when I
here.
seen you. So, hey, that's a good look, bro.
Yeah, and I definitely respect it. And then ever since we had the conversation, and I just was like, I really connected with what you said, with the things that you do. And I was like, man, I really rock with this cat, man. You know what I'm saying? I definitely rock with this cat.
Yeah,
So, if you just a brief little overview about yourself, saying just to get things going, balls in your court, bro.
Man, dreamer and a realist. Man, a couple things, man. I'm a family man. I got two young daughters.
Nice.
Recently, I guess my businesses are about as old or younger than my daughters.
Okay.
Let's see, man. Out here in South Phoenix, man, just I love the city, man. I feel like I've been blessed to be a blessing. I don't know. That was pretty much the summary right there, bro.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it, man.
Okay. All right. I mean, well, tell you a little bit more about your business real quick. What you do.
Yeah, for sure. We protect and grow assets, man. I'm the owner and operator of South Mountain Services. It's a local insurance brokerage. What we do is we help our clients find the best cost and coverage for home, car, business, and life insurance. And we do a really good job at it, man. We have top-rated insurance carriers who compete for our clients' business. So we're really, kind of in the financial fabric of people's families, man, and that's where I want to be. And really, carved out sort of a lane to be able to funnel, people's decisions for, long-term generational wealth. So that's really my passion, man. It's about protecting and growing assets. Assets are the people.
Right.
And so when you're protected as a person because you have a strong insurance broker, financially it's a good look all the way around. So yeah, man, that's it, man. So I got a team there just building this business from scratch. Been blessed to see the inside of the insurance industry for over a decade before I really opened my business. And so, man, I'm just I'm open, man. Like, we can get into it. Let's talk and if there's any questions or something I can give understanding to, man, I'm happy to. But yeah, that's the insurance business.
Okay. And what's the other business? You said you got a couple more businesses.
Yeah. So I'm all about housing and transportation, man.
Okay.
And so maybe we can get into a little bit of that. But basically, man, moral story, the other two businesses is a moving company and janitorial services, commercial and residential janitorial services. And so, yeah, man, so it's kind of like, I like to say, cars and homes is my wheelhouse. There's a study that was done that basically said in my zip code, 70% of our dollars as a community is spent on two things. And those are housing and transportation related expenses. So, the roof over your head, the cost to insure your car, the gas, like all of these things are what, we as a community spend 70% of our income on. And so I really just took that and said, hey, this is something to harness for good. This is our assets. We want to be able to circulate this, and there's different financial tools we can do that. And really be able to provide an employment opportunity I think is unique. Yeah, man, it's a lot. I could talk about all of that for a long time.
Okay, we're definitely gonna dive into. But one of the things I like that you said. So, what does generational wealth look like to you?
Yeah, it looked like when your kids is taken care of based off of decisions that you determined,
Okay.
maybe even before they was there. Um, and so, so for example, so this gets into life insurance.
Okay.
So for example, sometimes we save our customers some money on car insurance.
Right.
The insurance game is all based off of algorithms. And so maybe there's an insurance carrier who can offer you a better price, Thurston. So if I
Mhm.
get you a better price, let's say I saved you $50 a month. Now, maybe though that's $40 you can spend and still come away with savings and get another policy, a life insurance policy. And so generationally, we just took what you was spending on car insurance with the other people, found someone who offers more competitive pricing, took your monthly car budget and took some of that to purchase a life policy. And so that gets into the generational wealth. I guess that's how we do it sometimes. The generational wealth piece is, when you pass away, outside of, obviously like the emotional toll, there's a massive financial burden a lot of times the families are left with.
Right.
Most homes, let's just say average home is like a double income, let's say there's two income earners and some kids. And so when someone passes away, a lot of times, especially for our community, due to wealth disparities and racial inequities, all this other stuff, like we live check to check. And so that could be super detrimental. Um, Losing an income from a financial standpoint, not just like, okay, how can we pay the mortgage tomorrow or 3 months from now, but like I was actually intending on your income for the next 30 years. Like maybe we was married or we had a relationship, understand, whatever, like that could
Right.
be devastating.
Hmm.
And so what a life insurance policy does is they take that loss that happened, and write a check to your family for whatever that policy was written for. And so maybe it was $40 a month. But generationally now, your children have, let's say, hundreds of thousands of dollars immediately that
Hmm.
they wouldn't have had. And this whole time you were working to be able to provide them with money. And, if you pass away immediately, that happens. So that's your children. And you could name your grandchildren as beneficiaries. But, typically what happens is someone gets a life policy. When someone passes away, now they believe in life insurance, and everyone in their entire generations, starts to gravitate to life insurance because
Right.
they physically saw, um, hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes save or rescue a family from, slipping into generational poverty.
Mm.
So that's a mouthful, but man, Thurston, I really got into it, bro, because um, every weekend on 7th Avenue and Southern, it's a car wash in my neighborhood, where people are trying to scrape up funds to be able to bury someone,
Right.
and have to ask someone for money just to bury someone.
Hmm.
On the financial side of things, that could have been a massive, financial situation for your family that's never been done for generations to set up everyone for generations.
Right.
These are real dollars and real life things. So it's just nice to be able to educate myself and then my culture, and now be able to see, policies be issued and protect people for generations, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah, man, I definitely like that because I think that word is always tossed around, generational wealth percept, a lot of people don't even know what it looks like or how to achieve it. And so when I finally met up with you, you told me about the life insurance and how it works. I was like, man, no brainer. And I got my policy, just FYI, I did get my policy, sign up, make sure to get in contact with my man Jordan here to help set you guys up, anybody hearing this. And
Mm.
another thing, just looking at the world and seeing how things are going. Um, how is this profession? For anyone that's reading, coming across this interview, looking to maybe come to a crossroads in their life where they might looking to change. How is it if someone's looking to jump in the industry? Would you recommend it?
For sure, no doubt about it. Um,
Okay.
and I'd love to
What's some of the
talk
pros? Oh, go
about the
ahead.
industry of it, because check it out. A lot of
Yeah.
people right now is on a subscription game. The subscription game is when it's a Netflix. It's monthly. I pay this. I expect this monthly, and people been doing it forever.
Right.
Now, like iTunes does it, you get access to all the kinds of music. A lot of people do some sort of counseling, or I'm available for phone calls. Like it's subscription. That model of business is, it's what I call mailbox money. It's
Right.
money that comes in regularly every month based off of a decision that was made, previously.
Mm-hmm.
And so from a I don't know, just a business standpoint, the business model itself is based up very lucratively over time because the money compounds. And so what I want to, like, man, if your listeners hear anything, I hope that they hear this piece, that
Okay.
our labor has been stolen from us as Black people, and families even this related now to Black people.
Okay.
It has been stolen through slavery, and that's the game that's been set up. And so the system with businesses and now trying to establish things, it's about hours. Like time is money. And
Right.
so if I'm doing the same task and getting paid the same amount for it, that's one thing. But if I do a task one time and constantly get paid off of that, now I'm not using my hours, for, let's say 40 hours a week, to go get that money. That was done, let's say, years ago.
Right.
And so that's how the subscription model is based. And I think it's like probably the best one, man, what else I want to say? Just industry wise, definitely get into the industry because, that 70% aspect that I mentioned,
Okay.
insurance is a big part of that. Look, when I came into the game, first thing I tried to do, was establish like an internship program.
Okay.
And talked to a couple schools, different counselors, wasn't able to get anything solid and materialized. But I think it's something to look into. Like if you know someone who's about it, it's like, yo, let me tag along. Yeah.
And how would someone get started? Say they, hey man, I wanted to take a step into the what we call a life insurance agent or
Yeah.
a,
So for life insurance, for example, each kind of line of business requires a different license.
okay.
So there's a business license you need. There's commercial lines for business, personal lines license. So you're asking, what would you do? First, I think, first see the value in it, like something you had mentioned, like, okay, yeah, I think this is valuable. And definitely, man, reach out to me. You probably international, Thurston, so I don't know where all your listeners are, but
Yeah.
I'm in Arizona, but there's agents in every state, and typically they don't look like us, and typically they're not young.
Right.
And so this thing could be difficult to establish mentors in, and that was something that I found.
Okay.
When I came, like, yo, just peak game or get it from me, like just reach out, because not a lot of people's really open to, as I found, to kind of share some of the information.
Yeah.
But I'll pull the curtain back and show you what's there and show you, what's been going on for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, value it, man. And I think just humbly just reaching out to an agent saying, hey, this is great. This is something I want to be involved in, or I want to bring to my community. I think is fantastic. And we need more agents who kind of get into this for the right reasons. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, no doubt. Cause I see a couple of people, I think on my social media advertising, um, becoming an agent. That there are trying to come from the real estate, because of the deals, stuff like that. Like, hey, you maybe want to start coming into the life insurance game because you're not looking for, there's always, everyone has to die. That's the one thing that it has to happen. Everyone has to die, and they're always making, I guess, cemeteries. So it's like it's always clients, and then there's a benefit and stuff like that when someone passes away. Definitely a time of loss. But then again, on the flip side, your family's set up and taken care of to a point where you never thought you'd be able to actually provide for your children's children. To be
Right.
affected by the decision that you made investing into yourself and having a life insurance policy.
Yep, for sure. But I'll tell you straight up, I'm hiring. Like that's like the always, we always trying to find the right people. Yeah, man, like it's about impacting generations. Like it's like a sacred thing that you do when you sit with someone
Right.
to discuss that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, man.
So
Yeah, yeah.
what are some of the pros for someone getting into it? Thinking about being a life insurance agent. What are some of the pros and cons that you can get real quick?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest pros I think is just the impact.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of jobs that we work sometimes don't come with any fulfillment. Like it's not fulfilling to do this.
Right.
With this, man, it's super rewarding to be able to take care of someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a massive pro. The other pro, and this is something I do as an insurance agent. I haven't met another one who compensates their team in this way. But I give my team a piece of the equity, like a piece of the production of the business long term,
Okay.
certain goals, and so they're able to make passive income.
Mm.
And so if you own an agency, that's great. If you work for someone, you probably won't have it set up that way. But being, I guess, your own boss or your own entity as an agent, it's nice to be able to set up passive income for yourself. So that's a benefit. What we doing? Positives, negatives?
Yeah, what can you tell me a little bit what you mean about the passive income? How you had it set up? But say someone's not in Arizona, they can't, come knocking your door, and they're looking to jump into the industry, and they meet someone that's like, hey, I saw this interview, talked about life insurance, I saw your ad, or
Mm-hmm.
Facebook ad offer, anything like that, or I see he popped out that he jumped out the Range Rover at the Lambo and said, yo, come sign with me, life insurance is the game. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us can get straight from the glitz and glamour online, but said, how would he know that's what a good deal looks like or a good opportunity? I guess you can just, what are some of the things to look for?
Yeah. Oh, you talking about an employment opportunity, or we talking about a policy?
Employment for someone who's
Oh
trying to get into
yeah,
the
yeah.
industry.
I think man, I think oh my goodness, it's so much. Where do I start? So the
I guess
I
just from your
mean,
perspective, from what you've seen, you jumped in here, and it's like, I don't know if it was it a perfect situation all along, or was there some trials and tribulations where it's like, what, I didn't like the way that was set up, because you said you offer something special to your agents. So what made you want to go ahead and offer that to them? Something
man,
like that.
I feel like that's the thing to do, man. I'm about ownership,
Right.
and so I don't know, man. I'm just like a hungry dude who like was stuck in a cubicle for a while, and now the cage bird gets to sing, and I just get to holler loud and just call the shots that I want to do. And
Okay.
so I want a team who's like well taken care of, because any well-oiled machine, like all the gears, everything's in place. So I take care of the squad, and make sure that they can eat passively. But I haven't ran across another agent that does it that way, where you can eat off something you produced from years ago.
Right.
Um, so
Is that like a part of the policy? Say if I'm an agent and I come under South Mountain Services and I sign up 4 or 5 people, what is the money look like that I'll be looking like, looking forward to coming down, like commission, or was it come every single month, a certain percentage?
yeah.
How
I
does that
mean,
work?
all the percentage is proprietary, so we'd have to talk offline. But you do get
Oh,
a
okay.
percentage off of what you produce. With life, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
With Because I mean, most people. Well, it depends. Some people pay their life insurance monthly. Some people annually. When I compensate my employees for, let's say, insuring a car or a home, that's the passive residual income.
Okay.
So if someone stays with us as their insurance broker, you're going to continue to seek the reward of helping that client initially, because we as an office will get paid on it as long as they stay with us.
Okay.
And so it incentivizes them to have good relationships, take care of their business. But also I just think like it's a cool thing to do. Like who else, like where else can you go and get passive income? Like I don't know of another situation. And so I think it's attractive because, you know, I can help identify the right kind of talent.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, man. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, for sure, man. And
So,
feel free to ask any questions, man, because this is like, we could, for real, like, there's so much knowledge I wanna be able to give. When it comes to this, you know, from starting a business from scratch, things not working out the first time, redoing it immediately, to
right.
like, you know, building teams. It's just there's a lot to this thing.
Okay, I ask one more question about it. So, for someone that's green coming out the street wants to be an agent, how many deals would they have to be able to close to live a comfortable life? Can we
If
speak on
you,
that, or
yeah, no, I'll
okay,
definitely
okay,
speak on
cool.
it. So when you say an agent, technically an agent's anyone who has a license, but
Okay,
most people think of agent as the boss man. So that's why it's kind of hard to answer some of the questions. So as a licensed member of a team,
hmm,
um, it depends on what your lifestyle is and how much, you know, you're willing to put in. And
right,
so if you were just life, I'm not going to pay you, you know, hourly. So it's like you commission only. And so it just really depends. Like, how big is your bat? How far does the ball go? And I'll tell you, you know, what you can make. But I think for someone who's looking to open their own business,
hmm,
uh, completely different situation.
okay,
Completely different. Most situations you would get in, they want to take a look at assets and a lot of different things to be like, yo, can this person stay around for years? Because it's the type of business that builds up on the latter end, but you starting from scratch, like if you were to start, so you have nothing coming in. You know what I mean?
hmm,
And so every situation is kind of different, um, as far as being an employee versus like actually owning
right.
a shop. But is that helpful? Is that insight? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So say if I want to be like, I see, I want to make, I don't know what the industry looks like. Let's say, hey, how for southbound services, how can I make 60 grand a year doing this? Like
I just say
what does that look like? Do I have to be, hey, do I have to be licensed in, life, home and auto and
for
clothes,
sure. I
you
think that'd
know?
be best. That'd be best because if you're dealing with a customer of mine and you sell a life policy, it's only more advantageous for them to go to you for everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so if you said like, oh, look, my goal is to make 60 a year as an agent, I'd say, you know, let's get to work. You can expect to leverage a lot of the relationships that you have,
Hmm.
you know, friends, family, associates, referrals, all of that, and leverage it pretty well. Just that alone,
Right.
I think we could definitely get you there.
Okay. All right,
Like this
cool.
is this. I'm not talking about like, oh, you need to go now create something new, some new relationships or new, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
You probably know enough people who could pay you 60,000 a year to do their insurance.
Mm,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Right. And then I'll just offer referrals and stuff like that. I mean, you can go on for days.
For sure, for sure. But people spend a lot on insurance. You know what I mean?
Right. I know I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I know I do. You know what I'm saying? So, matter of fact, I'll probably have to talk to you offline and see if I can
Hey,
get a better
that's what I was
quote.
gonna say. I know
If I
you
say
one day come talk.
we got to talk
We gonna,
offline,
we
So
gonna get it.
I was thinking to my like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to Jordan real quick and see if I can go ahead and get that number down a little bit lower. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Look,
you
I'd
know how
love to
things
take a
work.
look and see if I can make an improvement. If not, hey, you must have a good situation.
Right.
And holler at me in 6 months or a year when it go up, you know?
Right. Okay. I will definitely do. So, what as being the bed, sorry, the big boss man on top of your company, what are some leadership strategies that you try to implement within your company or principles, anything?
Yeah, yeah. I think just, I don't know, people say like, yo, the servant leaderhood model was like, you know what I mean? I
Okay.
think like that, like I wouldn't, you know, don't ask your team to do something that you're not willing to do, demonstrate by example.
Right.
Um, and when you do have a team, it's like, yo, every 2 weeks it's payroll. Checks don't bounce. Like you got to make sure they taken care of before everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they just not gonna work for you. Why would they do that?
That's
Um,
true.
yeah. So I just think being where you say you're gonna be doing what you say you're gonna do.
Hmm.
I think it's important. You know, I've done things like, I just list off a bunch of things. Like, yeah, I've done things like surveys. You know, what does my team think about me as a boss? You know what I
Right.
mean? I went through a training program with the corporate entity that first put me on.
Mm-hmm.
I won't mention their name, but they're like one of
Yeah.
the largest insurance companies. And they had, you know, different training, like not just, hey, this is how policy works, but like actual team leadership. Um, you know, I think, man, keep it real. Like, just I think the leadership thing is probably the, you know, obviously the most important thing to be able to produce in a business. But I think just a quality, just as men, we should just have just raw of being able to lead, being able to be the kind of person that people want to follow after.
Okay.
Yeah. What else? So leadership. You know, one thing I did is, you know, if I don't feel like I know or have a handle on the knowledge piece, whatever that is, enough, I just
Right.
go to whoever got it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So one
Right.
thing I did is I pursued a handful of agents before I got into the game. I was buying them bottles at Christmas time. I come by their office and I'm like, yo, just lace me, show me, you know, how you move.
Right.
But one person was particularly helpful, and this dude travels the nation and deals with different agents. And this is a real practical thing. I'll tell you his name. If you want to get in the agency, holler at this guy named Tim Linden. He on
Okay.
Facebook. He like an agent guru in the nation for a lot of, you know, agents. He's got great systems and processes and just kind of philosophy of how you take care of a policy for someone.
Okay.
But yeah, man, leadership is I don't know, it's important, and I hope that I have the right kinds of people around me this that can identify weaknesses and be like, yo, you need to tighten that up. You know what I mean?
Right. And so when you talked about the servant leadership, what does that look like coming from you? You know, how do you know that you actually are holding up that model as a servant leadership? Like, this is what it looks like, you know, for me when I'm operating under the service leadership, you know, say umbrella, making sure, like, you know,
Yeah.
making sure you're holding yourself accountable to your team. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's good. In addition to the surveys, man, I'll probably say, like, how do I know? How do I know? Um, I don't know, man. I think it can be difficult. I think it can be difficult as the business owner wearing multiple hats to have a right idea of something. And I think that's maybe the most slept on struggle of business owners.
Okay.
So what I mean is I approach something not only like a consumer, like, yo, I actually buy this
Mm-hmm.
and need it, but like it and get paid from it and convince others this it's important so much that they now will feed their families off of this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so yeah, man. I think servant leadership look like just being willing to die. Like, yo, be okay being misunderstood. Be okay with people like not agreeing with your philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like at the end of the day, I have to make the decisions, the tough decisions that make the entire team win.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even
Nice.
if that means getting rid of certain team members or having certain barriers with certain things.
Right. And tough
Um,
decisions. And I definitely
yeah,
feel
yeah,
you,
for
man.
sure, for sure.
Come, comes
So
with
like
it.
for example, like
Yeah.
the game, the name of the game is like policies, like getting more policies. Okay, well, getting more team members. Okay, just get any team member. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think a leader would look and be like, oh, there's a bag out there for me. Let's go get the bag. But like, yo, not all money is good money. You know what I mean? So a good
Right.
leader is going to be able to identify that for the sake of the trajectory of the whole operation. You know what I mean? Because one bad seed could kind of, it's a vibe and it pollutes things. So
Right.
yeah, man, I think a lot of tough decisions makes you a good leader. But yeah, like a servant leader, man, you just got to be willing to just be the last to eat, the first through the door, last to go.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Dropping
Just
gems right here. Dropping
yeah,
gems. Get
yeah,
your pen and paper out. Get your pen and paper out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand, just those
It ain't
aspects.
glorious. It
It
ain't
ain't.
glorious. Let me say this, man, because it's a lot of vibes online of like, look how glorious the boss life is.
Right.
I'm a
Right.
boss, you know, hashtag boss.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, man. Just all of this to me, bro. I don't feel it, man. Cause I've been at this for a few years,
Right.
and last time I checked, maybe did things other people haven't got to yet.
Hmm.
And I there's no like feel good glory. Like it ain't a glorious thing when you like the janitor, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
Who's also running over here to do this and that, who knows that like, you know what I mean? Like you just know the ins and outs. And so I don't think it's something to me when I see that, I'm like, you ain't got no salary bills. You know what I mean?
Right.
You ain't paying for space just so that your team could operate.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
not. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, man, I could go off on this. So the other thing I wanted to mention is like, yo, if you a boss, you put people on. Like, show me you a boss based off of how many people you touched is winning.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't respect nothing else than that. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Question. So one thing so what? So being a leader and stepping into your leadership role, how has it affected your household? Do you see certain times too where you take being that servant leader has came over across into your household where you have to make tough
No doubt.
decisions too?
No doubt. No doubt. And if we're talking about getting into a business, and I think a lot of vibes is like for new business owners and stuff, if that's what we're trying to touch, it's going to destroy your house, man.
Mm,
I'm going to keep it real with you.
right.
It's going to destroy every part of your life. Like you can't, like, there's not a night you're going to go to sleep. And not saying you worrying, but like it's something to carry on your shoulders and your family bear that. You know what I mean? When
Right.
I came into the game, bro, both my children was in diapers. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? When I'm hiring team and renovating space and doing training and getting contracts and leases and stuff,
Right.
like I think it's an ugly thing for your family to see, especially for the first few years. We don't went to hell and back.
Right.
Um,
How
and
old are your daughters? I'm sorry to cut you off. How,
yeah, 3 and 4 years old.
3 and 4? Oh, nice, love, beautiful ages.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
And so yeah, man, I think it touches. I think when you go and you start a business, man, I feel like it touches everything, every aspect of your life, man. All your relationships, everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
I could talk on that for days. But yeah, I think that it's rough and it's brutal, and I'm just being honest like this because I think people get into it maybe not knowing.
Right.
And
I know they don't know.
people had schooled me to the game before I got into it, and
Okay.
was like, everybody was like, I mean, they even told me like, man, I don't know an agent who was married to the one they was with when they started this thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that it's a serious endeavor, man, if you really want to go all the way in and sink the boats and try to make something float for you, you know.
Mm,
But on the upside, and this is like the passion, this is like when I'm up in the morning, like feeling energetic, it's all like for the children, yo.
right.
Like the fact that, you know, my daughters, they gonna cast lots for which business they inherit. You know what I mean? Like these are the plans that I have for them. Um, to me, all the struggle, all the struggle is worth it. And I think, especially for a new endeavor, the first few years is tough. But the idea of like always being able to, you know, take your kids to the game, they want to go to the game, or being at their practice, just having a present parent, to
Right.
me is attractive. You feel me?
Hmm.
And so, you know, I'm gonna make sure I'm there. I'm there to hold it down for my daughters. And part of that is starting a business,
Right.
to be able to have that freedom for them later on, you know, when it matters.
Okay. And so, I guess if you want to touch on it, so what things are you putting in place for your family? You know.
Um,
You know, I got a
putting
lot
in
of
place.
businesses. I'm pretty sure you have a life insurance policy. You know, saying so anything else, it's like, man, before you check out here, you know, you got these things in place for your family, for as far as assets go, that you probably will share it to someone else, maybe that has a family that's not really, you know, on the wavelength that you're on. What are some things that you think? I guess let me rephrase that. What are some things that you feel you should people should leave, you know, for their children and for their families, you know, other than life insurance policies?
Yeah,
Or is it something
everything,
or just something to think about?
everything, everything.
Give me four.
Like I really mean that. I mean, like the life that you live right now
Mm-hmm.
is selfish if it's not for your kids. My opinion.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I say everything, like I feel like everything that you're working for now, it should be for them.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, homes, accounts, like all of that. You know, life insurance is the most important, and I think that a lot of people have dreams and ambitions of stability, or some even riches, or you know, some people just want to just make it, buy enough just to, you know, have the bills at the end of the month. All of us have a desire for something like that is good, and I think life insurance is a way to be able to capture that with certainty.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you say the number one thing that, you know, you recommend to everybody is like, hey, if you don't have a business, entrepreneur, you're not well versed in stocks, have a portfolio, just to have a life insurance policy. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think you should definitely have a life insurance policy, and I think that should be the first step,
That's your first step.
because it's
Okay.
the it's the it's the cheap. No other tool for $40 today gets you a million tomorrow. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
right.
In literal, no, you know what I mean? No, that's it. So I think that's first and foremost. But really, man, I I got when I got into this industry, it was a pivot from the real estate industry,
Hmm.
and so I was what they call a loan officer.
Okay.
And so I was helping to like approve people's mortgages, and that showed me just the benefits of home ownership.
Right.
And so I think that's another crucial thing to do. Um, if you're able to purchase a home and put 3% down, around 3% down on the home, and then maybe a couple of years later buy another home, renting that first one out, helping to qualify for the second off the strength of that first one, like that's a good look long term for your family when you begin to acquire the kinds of assets that's working for you. Again, you only got 24 hours in the day. You need other things to be working for you, and your
Right.
dollars need to be working for you. And so that's what life insurance is about. That's what real estate is about. um so that'd be my advice. As far as the stocks go, you know, I think that's cool, man. I think stocks and real estate is where it's at.
Right.
um and I don't even think you need to like pick good stocks. Just get like the regular shit that like you would normally buy, or that you know that's popular. Not giving stock advice. We don't do that or nothing like that. But I guess what I'm saying is it's just a mindset. The mindset needs
Right.
to be needs to be I'm limited in what I could do. I need other things that's working for me. That's a business. That's a
Mm,
house, or that's team members, or that's you getting your license, or that's you talking to your insurance agent who about to save you some money monthly on your car insurance.
right.
You know what I mean? Whatever. Like we should have stuff that's working for us, and that's what I'm about establishing. You know what I mean?
Nice. Thank you, man. I appreciate you for sharing that, man. You know, one thing I've been doing, um, I was telling people, man, I opened up a bank account with one of the credit unions out here in Arizona, and so they offered a free consultation with a financial advisor or financial consultant, you know, something like that. And so he, you know, he called me, and I was like, all right, well, what do we do? He said, well, I answer any questions that you want. And I was like, any question? He's like, yeah. So for the past 3 months, man, I just been picking this dude's brain, answering questions about
So,
money, how money works, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
What the things, credit, stocks, you know, everything. And it's and then just picking his brain, you know what I'm saying? Every
mm-hmm.
month. I got another call coming up this month, May, and we'll pick back off the last questions that I asked him last time that we spoke. So, and we
That's
talked
dope.
about stocks. You know, I said, what do you think about stocks? He's like, you know, just mutual funds, you know. If you don't know about stocks, get a brokerage, have a mutual, put it in mutual funds.
Okay.
Like that. I was like, cool. And just talked about savings, how many accounts. I said, how many saving accounts did you have? He asked you about my savings. How many you have? And he said, that's a good question, Thirst. I got about 5 of them. You know?
Boom.
And I asked him why. And he said, well, one, savings is for my retirement. One's for vacation. One's for emergency funds. One's for my auto. And one's for like little things that happen around the house. And I was like, that makes sense. So I just kept writing. I kept writing more information. That's why I like what you said, how you just you went to certain people and you pulled the information from, what I'm saying? That's what I do. It's like I have, try to put smart people around me now that are like the Michael Jordan in their industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll take me too long to get to your wealth of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Where I can just be a direct connect to you and then ask you a question and boom, I got the answer right there. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
And that's what it's all
the
about.
Community working well, man. That's it right there, for sure. Speaking of game, I like how he was talking about different savings accounts and things like that. And since we've been talking about, just my entrepreneurial journey and business creation and things, the other, massive benefit that I hope your listeners, if they ain't already get to, is when you create a business entity, your business has, its own like social security number, and if you do it properly, that EIN gets you a checking account, and now you have the ability to shift your tax obligation to your business. And so basically I guess long story short is having a business gives you the ability to utilize everything in Congress that all these big businesses have been advocating for. Businesses run this country. Straight up. They run the country.
Right.
And so they all the laws favor businesses. They don't favor individuals. They're not favoring you as an individual. They favor you as a business. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a major key. Even if you're not like, yo, I'm going all in, I'm getting a storefront, I'm finally opening my restaurant or whatever. Like maybe you're a caterer. Maybe you still just do something part-time, but having this business entity, there's a lot of good maneuvers that you could do financially to be able to take care of the business as a person. You got me?
Yeah, we get my mic. I had my mic cord, my mic fell off, and I had the alert pop up. But yeah, man, that all makes sense. And you know, Adrian.
Yeah. Adrian Fry.
Yeah. That's a good friend of mine. So like I was just as you were just talking about that, I was thinking about when we talked and stuff like that about she's doing her little PDF about this and tax credits and taxes, the whole tax game. Sounds like, and so as you were speaking, it just took me back to the conversation that I had with her and the stuff that I'm trying to do. As we talk, that's why it's so important to have these conversations. Because even while we're talking, I have my little Fiji cube. My brain is just, listening to you and thinking about, thinking about some of the things that I'm doing in my life and some of the moves that I'm making and how I'm putting things together. And so it's like, okay, that makes sense if I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
we're going over right now. And that's why with the spoken sip, I think it's definitely just so important, with the whole thing that I created. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy how I look at it and how it's growing without really, on the ground, so it's not really like growing out, but it's like growing up with just a network of people that I'm just open to meeting, what I'm saying, through smoke and sip and stuff like that. So it's like, man, it's super dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm invited to another private event coming up pretty soon, and with some heavy hitters, and they welcome me in. And it all started for me, saying having that whole smoke and sip. And it's opening up more doors for myself, and then allowed me to get the information, saying I'm just trying to get one to give back to everybody else, because I just see the benefit of doing that. Everybody have a seat at the table, and y'all can just, bounce ideas. And, I'm taking something from you. Hopefully I take something from my financial counselor and everybody who I talk to now. I ask them about money, and then, hey, this is what I got for talking to this person. And maybe you should look into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this is the golden way, but it's something to think about. I only have one savings account. And, you know what I'm saying? And then we talked about, using your debit card from your credit card. And we went over that. And so it is, different things like that. Just getting the information, each one teach one, and just pass it on. One thing, Let me see how much time we got left. Okay. Actually, my last question. I'll try to keep them for under an hour because I don't like, having a long session. I want people to be like, you jump in here and then take away the golden nugget, saying chew the meat, spill out the bones. What does the future look like for you, Jordan? You got these businesses growing, you got your company. What is 5 years look like from now? And what is the, I guess let's say about 10 years from now for you, for Jordan?
Yeah, man.
Okay, so a short-term goal and a long-term goal. There you go.
Yeah, okay. Short term, I'm looking to build my team up. I've been spending a while like pouring concrete and watching it dry and just thinking about how tall this thing could get,
right.
But not wanting to build anything on top of the concrete yet. I've just got a different philosophy with that, man. And so, yeah, man, we start just putting up the walls, man. I feel like the foundation that right now has just been laid. So short term, man, is just a boost in staffing, man, finding the right kinds of people who could take care of my clients,
Okay.
So those are staffing needs on a couple of different situations.
Right.
I think the janitorial company as well as the moving, and the insurance was the first I mentioned.
Right.
So yeah, short term, man, yeah, building team.
Okay.
And then I think long term, just continuing to press the buttons that I feel that need to be pressed in my community for us as a community to win, particularly in South Phoenix.
Right.
So it's definitely, I think, a real estate development piece that's in there, but it's all it's what I'm doing now, man. It's shaping the future based off of good decisions and controlling assets and outcomes. You know what I mean? So I think continuing to do what I'm doing now in the long and the short term.
Okay. All right, cool. I appreciate it, man. Well, Jordan Jacques, I appreciate you for your time. Jumping on here. I've been trying to lock you down for a minute. I finally, got him, had to wrap him down. And I thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge and jewels for everybody. And like I said, I'll get your contact information so anyone sees this video, to have the handle to get back in contact with you.
Right on, Thurston. Much appreciated, man. Salute to you with the podcast, man. Excited to see you out here shining, man. And want to see you continue to win, my brother.
Appreciate it, boss. You have a good night, sir.
All right, later.
Late.